Alright, let's end the year and this phone with the climax to this Thor story. This is issue 282 by Mark Griswold and Neil Pollard. And this is also the first appearance of Tempest. And this is a textbook example of when I can, ooh, this is an important first appearance. And then I realised Tempest, he only has like 9 appearances. So far, we have had Space Pantsman lead Thor on a merry chase through the temporal dimension known as Limbo. Space Pantsman's own planet, it is about to be enveloped by Limbo. It's about to fade away into the timeless void, because Space Pantsman, his race of Space Pantsmen, they overuse time travel. So he has schemed to use Thor's magic armor and its time warping abilities to save his planet. I took a day between parts 1 and 2 to think about how to tackle this, because I promised to explain the nature of Kurt Busiek's retcons to this story, and I want to do it quite matter of fact without calling them a boring tosspot too much. In Avengers Forever, among other things, Kurt Busiek retconned almost every possible thing to do with Space Pantsman. The retcons of Space Pantsman were really so that he/they could become Kurt Busiek's personal little weapon to retcon other things. If Kurt Busiek didn't like something, he could say every character in the cross-dressing was a Space Pantsman and provide no other explanation or justification for that. Space Pantsman, he didn't really need retconning to serve Kurt Busiek's agenda, but he retconned them anyway. He made it so that all this stuff with his own planet, it's all bullshit. It's all smoke and mirrors. None of it is true. It's all fake. It is gaslighting for shits and giggles. To me, that is the cherry on top of the shit indulgent retcons of Kurt Busiek. It's not just that he is removing and breaking other stories for little to no reason. It's that the only explanation he really provides is that Space Pantsman or Kronos, they did all this convoluted scheming and manipulations for no real reason. It was all smoke and mirrors to confuse the heroes, or it was all just for shits and giggles. And it's not that he retconned Space Pantsman, which is annoying. It's that he retconned nearly everything. Go and watch my review for Avengers Forever. It is just a stupid, hard man who cannot build his own stories without breaking down every other story to make it seem like his is the ultimate story all along. He also heavily retconned Kronos and limbo and the nature of all these aspects of the Marvel Universe so that they match his own story. Most of these retcons are also not needed. They are not needed to improve the Marvel Universe. And they are not even needed for his stories. Everything that is established in this issue, it can work with Kurt Busiek's story in Avengers Forever. This backstory with Space Pantsman being an alien from a planet full of space pantsmen, that still can work with what Kurt Busiek wants, but he just retcons this entire two-parter as being Space Pantsman and Kronos pranking Thor for a laugh. And it really hurts this story because it isn't much of a story to begin with. This is Marky Mark doing some mythology. That is its thing. He is establishing how limbo works. He is making connections between Space Pantsman and Kronos. He has got these really cool splash pages by Neil Pollard. We have Tempest, who goes on to have about 8 more appearances. He is sort of the bodyguard enforcer type of Limbo. Tempest is pretty notable as he was one of the few things linked to Kronos and Limbo that Kurt Busiek didn't actually retcon. He did feature him briefly in the first issue of Avengers Forever and I think killed him off. So that's just as bad as retconning him, really. What is the difference between this and what Kurt Busiek does is the question that you might ponder. This is a story that on paper seems to be doing very similar stuff to Avengers Forever. This is revealing and establishing backstory and the origin of Space Pantsman and Limbo and all that jazz. Which one could say Avengers Forever also was doing. The difference is obvious. Marky Mark is not breaking stuff down to make any of this work. He's not saying Space Pantsman's entire history before this has been a big lie. He's not actually retconning anything. At least not in the traditional sense. He is just adding to characters and lore. And unlike Kurt Busiek, who in Avengers Forever, issue 8 and also 9, literally pauses a story to have characters do an issue-long lecture explaining in depth his new twisted version of canon. This stuff is all offered up along the way of this kind of middling story about Thor's magic armor. We also get a really decent fight with Thor and Tempest. And Thor doesn't have his armor for it. I think that makes it a fairly notable fight in Thor history. He is fighting without his magic armor. There was one disappointment I had with this issue, and that is I remembered this panel here which is when we finally confront Kronos, and we see that he has Thor's magic armor, and that in Limbo, all the magic enchantments are not active with the armor. I wrongly remembered this panel as being a big splash page. Why couldn't Kurt Busiek retcon this into being a splash page? That would have been beneficial in my opinion. We get a quick little history lesson on Kronos, explaining stuff we already knew, but adding to it some other stuff like the Timekeepers and Tempest. There is one other aspect I want to talk about, and that is when it is all over, Thor has lost the time travel capabilities of his magic armor. He had to expend them to save Space Pantsman's planet. Well, he ponders to himself if this had all been a plan by Space Pantsman and Kronos to rob him of his time powers. That is fine. Here, it is a good point. It is a good ending. And Kurt Busiek, he points to this as justification for his retconning. But that's not enough. This story worked fine the way it was. All Kurt Busiek needed to say was, yes, it was a ruse. But instead, he went in and made it so that the story doesn't matter. It wasn't just the scheme, it was a total farce. It's really tough to enjoy comics when they have been so demolished by talentless egotists. Here's the thing. You are privy to Space Pantsman's thoughts in this issue. And a lot. In fact, here on the second page, this is a whole page of Space Pantsman thinking to himself. Like, up here, he is thinking about his planet dying. But according to Kurt Busiek, he doesn't have a planet, and this is all just made up backstory to trick Thor. And this is the case with all of Kurt Busiek's retcons. He expects you to just ignore the bits that contradict his bullshit, or believe that these characters are so into their epic pranks that their internal monologue are also in on it. The problem with his retcons are many, but the execution of them may be even worse than what they pertain. This story is okay. There is a fun fight with Tempest and some neat visuals by Neil Pollard. But it is difficult to read without all the baggage Kurt Busiek brought to the table. I like some of the world building and continuity here, but I guess it amounts to nothing when Kurt Busiek says it was all gaslighting. I'll give it 7 thumbs up, but maybe I am just lying like a Space Pantsman does.